Good morning, students. Yesterday we have started with the revision classes and we have discussed some terms. Today we are moving ahead, and the terms that we are discussing is, first of all, we have capital. So what is capital? Capital is that amount which is invested into business by businessman. यानी कि वो पैसा या फिर एसेट्स जो बिजनेस में बिजनेसमैन कंट्रीब्यूट करता है, बिजनेस में बिजनेसमैन लगाता है टू स्टार्ट बिजनेस, इज नोन एज कैपिटल. I hope you all are clear that the amount of money invested into business by businessman is known as capital. वो पैसा जो बिजनेस में बिजनेसमैन लगाता है उसे क्या कहा जाता है? कैपिटल. The next we have is drawing. Now what is drawing? When businessman withdraws some amount from business for his personal use is known as drawing. So drawings are the amount taken by the owner for his personal use. Drawings are usually in the form of cash, but sometimes they can be in the form of stock or any other assets. So सिंपल सी बात है कि बिजनेस से अगर बिजनेसमैन ने अपना कोई भी पर्सनल खर्चा पे किया तो वो होगी उसकी ड्राइंग. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, बिजनेसमैन पेड हिज चिल्ड्रन ट्यूशन फीस फ्रॉम दी business. So definitely children are of businessman, whereas business is different entity, as we already have discussed. So since it's an expense of businessman which is borne by business, and hence it is known as drawing. बिजनेसमैन का कोई भी पर्सनल खर्चा अगर बिजनेस बियर करता है या बिजनेस पे करता है या फिर बिजनेस से बिजनेसमैन अपने पर्सनल खर्चे के लिए कोई भी अमाउंट या एसेट्स विड्रॉ कर लेता है तो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज ड्राइंग. द नेक्स्ट टर्म वी हैव इज रेवेन्यू. If in simple terms we have to discuss revenue, so revenue is the amount generated from sale of goods and services of business. If I do have a general store, so selling the goods of those general store, the amount that I have received will be considered as my revenue. If I do have a salon, then providing salon facilities, the amount that I have earned will be considered as my revenue. If I do have a cosmetic shop, the amount that I have generated by selling cosmetics will be considered as my revenue. So in simple, whatever business I am having, selling the goods or services of that particular business, the amount that I have earned is termed as revenue. So revenue is the income that is generated by normal business activity. जब हम अपनी नॉर्मल बिजनेस एक्टिविटी से किसी अमाउंट को जनरेट करते हैं तो उसे कहा जाता है रेवेन्यू. Next we have is profit. So what is profit and what is difference between revenue and profit? Profit is the excess of revenue. Profit is the excess of revenue over expense. If my revenue is greater than my expenses, then definitely I have profit. In maths, you people have studied till last year that selling price minus cost price is considered as profit. So here selling price, as we already have discussed, this selling amount, the amount that we have generated through sales is considered as revenue. So if we consider revenue as our selling price, because selling price is generally for one unit, whereas revenue is total income generated through sale of all goods and services during a given period of time. So if I have generated my revenue more than my expenses, now here also cost price is for single unit, whereas expenses are in total for that particular business for that particular period of time. So if my revenue is greater than my expenses, then this will be termed as profit. So profit is excess of revenue over expenses. Profit is excess of revenue over expenses. तो जब हम रेवेन्यू ज़्यादा जनरेट करते हैं और एक्सपेंसेस कम करते हैं तो हमें जो होता है अमाउंट वो होता है हमारा प्रॉफिट. The next we have is expenses. So expenses are the cost incurred. Expenses are the cost incurred by business in the process of earning revenue. यानी कि रेवेन्यू को अर्न करने की प्रोसेस में मुझे उस रेवेन्यू को जनरेट करने के लिए जो भी खर्चा करना पड़ता है दैट इज टर्म्ड एज माय एक्सपेंस. सो एक्सपेंसेस आर ऑल दोज amount that business need to bear to generate revenue. Expenses क्या हैं? वो खर्चे, वो कॉस्ट जो बिजनेस को इनकर करना पड़ता है इनकम को जनरेट करने के लिए या फिर रेवेन्यू को जनरेट करने के लिए, उसे कहा जाता है आपका एक्सपेंसेस. Now we have gain. Now what is gain? And there is difference between gain and profit. So when we talk about gain, gain is incidental. It is not from business operation. It is generally something which is not from our business activity, rather it is generated incidentally. For example, a friend of mine do have a shoe shop and I bought shoe on lower price from him and I sold it to another friend of mine in a more price. So I definitely earned profit. But since I do not have shoe making business, since I do not have shoe business, I do not deal in shoe business. So basically this profit of mine cannot be considered as profit. So this profit of mine will be considered as gain. So any profit that is derived not from business activity or not from routine business activity. As you might have heard that any business activity is which is performed on regular basis is considered as my business. So since I am not selling shoes on daily basis, so it is not my business basically. So whatever amount I have generated, whatever amount I have gained from sale of that shoe will not be my profit, rather it will be my gain. And the next we have is loss. Now it is also very simple that loss is equals to excess of expenses over revenue. Simple सी बात है, if I have earned expenses more but I have sold goods at a lower price, then definitely the situation of mine will be considered as loss because I have spent more but earned less. So this situation is considered as loss. So loss is the expenses are greater than revenue. So in a given period of time, a businessman has to pay more expenses to generate income which is of lower budget, and this will be called as loss. So loss is equals to expenses minus revenue. Loss is equals to expenses minus revenue. That means if we have generated less revenue and more expenses, so we are on a situation of loss. Okay, the next term that we have is creditor. So, creditor is generally a person or an institution that have extended goods or services to us on credit basis. सीधी भाषा में अगर मैं बोलूँ तो क्रेडिटर वो बंदा है जिसने हमें उधार में कुछ दिया है और हमें उसको पैसा लौटाना पड़ेगा. सो क्रेडिटर इज अ पर्सन who have extended us. Credit facility is known as our credited because we have to repay him in future. So generally in business what happens, there is a creditor for suppliers. So generally if someone supplies our goods or services to us on credit basis is considered as creditor. So simple term that you have to remember is that creditor is one who have supplied or extended credit facility, goods or services is a creditor. In the same way, we have another term called debtor. Now, who is debtor? So, debtor is the opposite term of creditor. Debtor is a person to whom we have sold goods on credit and from whom we have to recover some amount in future. जिसको हमने गुड्स या सर्विसेज क्रेडिट में बेचे हैं और जो हमें फ्यूचर में पैसा रिटर्न करेगा वो होगा हमारा डेटर. So debtor is a person or institution to whom we have sold goods on credit and who will return us money in future. Along with it, there are some more terms. Let's discuss them. The first term that we have is prepaid expenses. Now, what is prepaid expenses? That name itself suggests pre, that is advance. Paid expenses. That means if we have paid our expenses in advance, they are termed as prepaid expenses. If expenses of business are paid in advance, they are known as prepaid expenses and this is our asset. And why it is our asset? Let's discuss it with an example. Now you go to tuitions. You go to tuitions and you pay tuition fees. Now when you paying tuition fee, generally you pay your tuition fee in advance. Now if you paying the fee in advance, that means on first date you have paid the fee to the teacher. Now it is liability of a teacher to teach you for that entire month. So since it's a liability of the teacher, that means it is asset to you because you can receive the benefit for the month. So basically प्रीपेड एक्सपेंसेस वो एक्सपेंसेस होते हैं जिनके लिए हमने अभी तक सर्विस डिराइव नहीं की है बट हमने उनको पेमेंट कर दिया है, तो वो होता है हमारा प्रीपेड expenses. And these are assets because we have paid in advance, so we just have to receive services or we can get even our money back, and that is why they are known as assets and these are prepaid expenses. The next term that we have is advance income. Next term that we have is advance income. It is just opposite to prepaid expenses. Now it's an advance that is advance income. So a income which is received in advance is known as advance income. Basically वो इनकम जिसके लिए मैंने अभी तक सर्विस रेंडर नहीं करी हुई है लेकिन वो मुझे ऑलरेडी रिसीव हो गई है. So that will be my advance income. If I discuss abhi your case, so in previous case, since you have paid the fees to the teacher in advance, So if you see it from the teacher's point of view, it's an advance income for the teacher, which becomes her or his liability, because since income is received in advance and we have not rendered services, so it is our liability to render that services, or else we'll have to return that money back, and that is why it is called as advance income. In the same way, there is a next term called as outstanding expense. Next term is outstanding expense. So outstanding, that expense for which we have already received services but payment is still to be made. I have told you some work to be completed and you completed my work, but for that I have not paid you yet. That means I am liable to pay you, and that is why you are an outstanding expense for me, because I already have received your services. So now when I have received your services, I must pay you, and since I have to pay you, you'll be standing outside my gate, and that's why we term them as outstanding expenses. That means these are those expenses for which we already have received services, and payment is likely to be made. Payment have not yet been made, so it is definitely to be paid, and that is why it is called as a liability. And the last we have is accrued income. Now, what is accrued income? So, accrued income is an income for which we already have rendered services, but amount is not yet received. हमने काम तो कर दिया, लेकिन हमारी पेमेंट अभी तक आई नहीं है, तो वो हो गई है हमारी accrued income, for which we already have rendered services but we have not received payment. तो accrued income क्या होता है? accrued income हमारी वो income होती है जिसके लिए हम काम कर चुके हैं, या फिर वो income जो हम earn कर चुके हैं बट अभी रिसीव नहीं हुई है. So income which is earned but not received is considered as accrued income. वो income जो हमने earn कर ली है लेकिन अभी तक हमें receive नहीं हुई है, वो है हमारी accrued income, और ये भी हमारी क्या होती है? asset. So you may get confused in accrued income and advance income, but always remember these are two opposite terms. Advance income, income received in advance, service is likely to be paid. Accrued income, service we have provided, income is yet to be received. And same way, outstanding expenses and prepaid expenses, these are also two opposite terms. Outstanding expenses, we have received services but payment is not made yet, so payment has to be made. Whereas prepaid expenses, we have paid the expenses for which we have not yet received the services. So these are 4 different terms which need to be remembered by you people. So with this, we'll end our topic of today. Tomorrow we'll start with the rules of accounting. Before going for that, please go through this video, whomsoever have missed it, so that you can easily understand the rules of accounting. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe, and keep washing your hands so that you don't get sick.